Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Fishing Channel Regional Fishing Report. Having some technical difficulties, so please bear with me. But we are going to welcome for the Upper Bay, Tom Weaver. I'm going to bring him in, hopefully successfully. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Anastasia.
All right. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So we were talking briefly before the show, touched on the world record that you caught on a fly rod. It's crazy.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, yes. So I identified that as a possible option. And then sort of it takes a lot of things that got to go right to get one of those big time, big time. And so I had the right guy, and it, ironically or whatever, serendipitously, Paul got the world pickerel record with me in February on a fly. And it just so happened that he'd booked me. I did a few trips down there, and he'd booked me for the full day and said, "Do you want to go try and get the world record on the fly for the drum?" And it's a long shot. It's literally a long shot. And then, so first of all, the weather was nice, and I know that because I saw you out there that day.
Oh yeah. I was like, who's this guy pulling up to us so closely? How rude. Oh my gosh, it's Captain Tom Weaver.
So I saw you guys and went over to say hi, and amongst a few other people down there. It was the part of the serendipitous things have to go right is there can't be too many boats and things like that. The weather was perfect, and it was just a case of trying to get ourselves in a position to have a shot. And so we heard, we missed the first bite that popped up about 3 or 4 miles north of us, but we knew they were in the area. So I just stuck it out, and in the previous few trips, I'd found out they'd moved out towards the channel edge later in the day, and so I just toughed it out and told Paul, hang tight, and when it happens, it's going to be wild and crazy. And so we were drifting around out there, and we were on our own. We had one boat with us. Turned out to be Chris Cochin, who I knew. I didn't know that at the time. Everybody else had wandered off, and I saw a bait come out of the water, and a red drum came after it. I'm like, whoa, there's a fish. And then 10 seconds later, there's 2,000 fish. We're right in the middle of them. And so Paul cast up the front, and it was interesting. I'm scrambling around the boat, and I didn't see that first bite, but he cast off the front and took off, and the fish got his fly coming towards him, and he's yelling at me, "I don't have a good hook set. I don't have a good hook set." I said, "Well, it's all we've got." And it took off towards the back of the boat, and I'm trying to clean up so he can get past me. And he immediately pulled the hook within 10, 15 seconds. And he's like, "What do I do now?" I'm like, "Cast again." And he's like, "Where?" I'm like, "Anywhere. Cast anywhere."
Yes.
Yeah. So he laid it out off to the side, and about 6 fish were coming streaking past the side of the boat. And the outside fish saw the fly hit the water and just peeled left and just grabbed it. Boom. It's good hook set. We knew he had a good hook set on that one. It hit it at right angles. And that was it. And so now we've got the fish on, cleared, streaming out, and just dumping line as they do. And Paul's using my equipment. He has all his own stuff. But he said, "How much backing have I got on this thing?" I'm like, 200 yards. He said, "I'm almost at the end of it." So, well, there's another 200 yards under that. That's the braid. I put the braid under that. So it went into the second set of backing. We recovered it. It was fish from a dead boat. I decided he couldn't recover fast enough if I took too much pressure off. So we decided to fish from a dead boat. Now, this is where luck and everything else comes into it, because now it's 2.5 football fields away with a bright orange backer, mind you. But if there's other boats out there, they'd have run that over. It stayed on top and just sprinted off towards the channel. And so we were just lucky there was nobody else around other than the one of the guys who both hooked up next to us on spinning gear. We got it to the boat once. It took off and dumped another 250 yards again, took off twice. And then finally we get it next to the boat, and actually, relatively, he was tired, and he rolled right into the net and bang in the boat. Easily got the record, and that's all we've got nowadays. The interesting thing is with these length records is we don't really have a shot at any of the the existing records because we can't weigh the fish. We can't kill them and
Yeah.
take them into land.
Yeah.
So this is a catch and release. Has to be catch and release. You have to
Yes.
release it alive. You have to have a lot of evidence. You have to have a lot of witnesses. You have to fill in a lot of paperwork. So not only has your equipment got to be perfect, my rod, the butt of my rod, the length of my rod, the line, the weight of the line, the angler, the all my tippets, whether I've got a bite tippet, how long my bite tippet is, how long my actual tippet is, all of that is sent in. All has to be verified. We have to have a lot of video evidence. We have to call folks. So we had Chris who took pictures of us, so we have an extra witness. So we're fairly, hopeful that after the 2-month review period, it'll be approved. We do know that nobody in the down period I didn't know is between the existing record is a tie held in Louisiana and South Carolina, and we didn't know somebody had caught a bigger fish in the meantime. So we've now checked that out, that nobody's submitted a record in that period of time. So all being equal, we hope to get sort of notification of that in a couple of months.
Wow. I was out that day and it was rough for a really long time.
Well,
to get on the
we cast the fly twice.
Yeah.
And we hooked a fish twice.
That's awesome.
The first one pulled the hook and the second one didn't, and pulled through the fly twice. And to say that, we on our way down, we did stop and catch some bluefish on the fly, and just for a bit of fun. But our focus was that once we went into let's go get the red drum, we put everything else away. Paul sat on the front, and we didn't throw in other fish. We didn't. There was options at mackerel and bluefish, but that would have been different gear. And so once we pulled the red drum gear out, we just sat there. We probably 4.5 hours before he had a shot, and he had one shot, hooked a fish, pulled the hook, had another shot, hooked a fish, and that was it. We had 40 seconds of time in that whole period of time, or the whole day.
Wow, the way you describe it, I feel like I was there with you.
So much
suspense. No, I mean physically on the boat when you got him. Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was, like I was saying, it was a rough day that day. It was hot. Everyone was waiting for a shot like you got. We got a hot tip from someone. Everyone ran towards where we were running. I smelt the watermelon. I smelt the fish. I'm like, they're here. Grant smelt them. Like. We're casting. It looked like there was something stirring in the water. We were casting. All the boats came and it was over. And I think you're right. There's a lot to that. Not many boats around when it happens, because when it's really beautiful, like you explained.
Well, we were the only two boats there, and then our mutual friend, Bugs, came over, and he wanted to come over and take a picture. That's all he was trying to do. And he's circling around the top, and I'm yelling at him, dude, our fish is over there. And there's this bright orange backing line going 2 football fields in front of him. I do not run it over. And he was inside a football field's length. And he stopped, turned around, and I actually never saw him again. He was too scared to come anywhere near. He's like, he just got out of our way and left, because he's like, that's crazy. They're hooked up on the fly, and he just didn't want to wreck it. So
that is great respect.
Having that response and opportunity out there, because if there'd been 10 boats there, there's zero chance that fish would not have got run over. I mean, it was just all the things in the world went right to get that fish.
Amazing. I just want to say hi to somebody who chimed in here, Sam Tador, Outdoors in Maryland. If anyone else is on, feel free to say hi, ask questions. But other than that, are we ready to go into what else is going out there besides this world record? What could there be?
That's ancient history now.
Yeah, so like, what do we talk about now?
Right. We'll start with that, and then we'll just go sideways. No, I tell you, it's just getting exciting right now. We've just the river mouths. So right now, and the fishing, the baits outside the rivers, and it, it's not 100% consistent yet or anything, but the fish are blowing up outside some of the rivers right here outside of Annapolis.
Nice.
And so we're getting good rockfish bites. I'm still getting great top water first thing in the morning. And when I struggle, I'll still go shallow. So I've been getting my fish super shallow. I had to dig hard over the weekend with the crowds and things. And it was weird that the full moon really messed the bite up, and the big tide. I mean, I was expecting good things out of it, but it was tough fishing. And if you didn't land on when you went to your spot and you didn't land on the fish, that was a long day. So I had to sort of grind out over the weekend. Since then, it's been really good. I'd say consistent mac and blue. I tell you, the bluefish bite right now is very impressive. Today was some of the most amazing I've seen, like full on crazy blitzes and decent. I mean, we're talking 3, 4, or maybe 5 pound bluefish, and I think I saw some bigger ones in there that we didn't get hooked up to. I mean, this was really impressive bluefish that put a bend in a rod and take a bit of line. And of course, the macs, when you get them, dump a bit of line, and we're getting some nice mac bites. And I think that's going to stay around for a little longer. Temperature's still not crashing or anything, but here come the rockfish starting to show up in numbers and then turning on big time outside the rivers up here.
Awesome. You must wear a horseshoe around your neck and carry all this luck with you. Now it's skill, it's experience, it's hard work and dedication. All these things you put into really pay off. And this is why people have you booked for months ahead. Sure.
I mean, I'll take luck any day, but it's definitely hard work. I mean, I've been working extra hard, and I'm looking forward to the fall where it's a little bit easier. These hard work days put a lot of, I get tired at the end of the day.
Yes. So we have some questions coming in from John. How far north can you reliably find the redfish?
Question of the night. What surprise.
So right now, if you're looking for redfish, and I'm going to say reliable is a tough word in redfishing anyway, but there are, over the past 5 days, there's been significant, it's been enough for me to say there's a lot of redfish around. There's some redfish around Sharps Island.
Okay.
And that's typical. I've had them last season. I got 5 on the south side of Poplar. I haven't got one there yet. There's fish. We got them around Sharps Island, and right now it's not reliable. I mean, you're going to stumble on
them. Okay. So having some technical difficulties tonight, folks, if you can please bear with me. But we're still doing question of the evening. So Captain Tom Weaver gets to choose which question, who gets the prize. And let's see, I get to choose what the prize is. Some BKDs and GI jigs.
There you go.
2 sponsors.
Are those one of those about 8-inch BKDs there?
This is 6.
6. You'll get a red drum on those.
An ounce.
From
GI jigs.
There's a red drum yummy snack right there.
Yep. So, question of the evening, folks. We have one more question coming in. I'm gonna take care of this right now so we can get D-Train in on. Hi, D-Train. What does he consider shallow water? Good question.
2 to 3 feet with structure that's shallower than that. I'm picking my fish off in super skinny water.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go into some other fish. So we talked briefly before we started the show about what's happened with Cobia. Now we talked about them moving out. What does that look like right now for them moving out of the bay?
Well, Cobia season closed today, so keeping a Cobia that's the end of it today. So a lot of people are probably scrambling to do that.
Yeah.
There's been a reasonable bite. I didn't try for it. Maybe I had one shot down there, sort of to the Taylor's Island side. Didn't contact one. Saw a lot further south. 2 days ago. Did not connect with one. I was down there looking for drum and saw a lot of cobia. Did not connect,
Hmm.
and didn't connect with a drum either.
Wow. What do you think was going on? Is it the full moon?
Yeah, it was a funny day. I mean, the trolling guys, they didn't even do that well either.
Hmm.
The blues and the max were going bananas, and that was easy fishing. The drum up, we didn't see it. I didn't see anything that looked like a drum. I don't know if they're still around, the big school. But we did see some cobia. Didn't, and cobia are hard. You know, cobia can be hard.
So what do you recommend? And I know we're out of season right now, but we have a lot of viewers who are not in the area. And since we're talking about this, what works best for cobia?
So if you really want to target cobia and you're trolling, which I don't do, the red hoses of what everybody's using, planer and a red hose, and that's cobia candy. That will catch cobia. What I'm throwing is big jig heads. See them on my side scan, or on the bottom. And we're always looking on top. I haven't seen one on top this season. I have seen them previously, but not yet, not this year. Find a single or a pile right under the boat or just off to one side. Cast a big jig head. You know, we use the feather. I mean, I don't know why, but I do throw the pink and black feathers with a little bit of a tail. Ounce and a half, 2 ounce, maybe 3 ounce jig head, big jig head, get it to the bottom, snap, see if you can hook one up. And last year I did or 2 years ago I did quite well with that. This year I haven't, and I haven't really been trying, to be honest.
You haven't been trying, but you get them anyway.
No, not this year.
Not this year.
Yeah.
How about the max? What's going on with the max? What are you using?
Good. Well, I use the you know, I do like the GI rain minnow, but I do use the dingle hopper a lot because they're cheaper. But the GI jig is a great go-to. So the number one, and you can't emphasize enough, full spool of fresh reel. I use 25-pound fluoro because I've been quite lucky. I haven't been bitten off much this year. I mean, going with 20, I tend to lose more lures. So, and the number one thing I tell people every time we're going to go fly up into a breaking fish or there's a good, nice max coming up, open the bail. Make sure your bail's open because $9.99 going flying off into the horizon, it kind of pisses me off, you know. So everybody gets excited after you charged up to the fish and they go, well, bam, and the lure takes off. So open the bail so you don't lose your lure. Fling it as far as you can, let it sink, and then rip it back to the boat. And I mean rip. You know, you reel that thing as fast as you can. If you're getting bluefish, you're not reeling fast enough. But when you get the max, it's bang and it's on. And we're getting today I only got bluefish. Didn't really see max. Rough, tough. I had 3 girls who really loved it. I'm like, man, this is hairy edge of 3-footers out here. And they said, this is great. We did get into the bluefish, a nice size. I didn't really even see many max in that. Yesterday, I got into just max and with a group of guys I had, and we whaled on the max, and it was great. And, you know, anything that hooked up pretty much was a mac. And so kind of identifying that, you know, you see the rainbow over there, you know, and they all want to stop and throw that. I'm like, we're just not going to get that. You've got to find the max that are feeding. And when they're feeding, you've got to be land that lure right in there, because I think people don't realize there's probably 2 or 3 of them busted up on some bait, and they tend to cast around. So you can see a mac eating on the surface and cast through that. You can get it. So long cast, let it sink a few seconds, and rip it back to the boat. Pink and white, my colors.
Okay, pink and white. We have a favorite here. Captain Tom Weaver knows what he's talking about. Pink and white, people. Pink and white.
my daughter's favorite color.
What size max were you pulling in? What sizes were you pulling in?
Consistent. Yesterday got into a school of 21, and every single was 21. Not quite trophy. Every single one was exactly 21 inches. It's kind of it. Really, really deep shoulder max, but they're all 21 inches.
Okay, so decent sizes.
Yeah.
So we're getting more questions in. Don't forget question of the evening, folks. So Carl, hey Tom, how you been doing on the specs this season?
Specs I had great. Specs July was spec month for me, and it was wonderful. And I could leave the dock and reliably target specs and get them. So I thought that was wonderful. And then I haven't had a spec since July, or maybe early August or whatever. But some of the guys got into some this weekend, big ones too. I just haven't come across them, even though I'm in. That the specs I would sometimes get them in the super shop, the 2 to 3 feet of water, but generally I was getting them in 6 to 8 feet of water. Be more typical for me to target spec.
Okay. We have a really good question coming in from someone who's viewing us on YouTube. This is going to be a good one. So Stanley Morris. Hi, Stanley. Hello, Captain. Do you think it is fair that charter boat anglers can keep 2 rock and me and my friends can only have 1? Huh.
No.
All right.
I don't think it's fair.
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's a great question. Yeah. And I you know what? That won't happen this year. So from that won't happen next year. The way the Amendment 7 that's already been passed, and so the October meetings, it will bring everything back to parity. There will be no conservation equivalency. So there will be no sort of gerrymandering of, well, hang on, I have to say, yeah. You never know in fisheries management.
That's true.
I would like to say that probably shouldn't happen. And there's no, if you to pay me and I can keep 2 fish for you, but go on your own, you can't. It's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah. But get involved in fisheries management, make your voice heard.
Yep.
I mean, attending the meetings is one thing. A lot of the meetings are virtual online, but when the public comment period happens on any of these regulations, make your voice heard, write a letter, do something. But no, it's not fair.
Yeah, definitely support that. Check out the CCA websites, are an amazing resource. We are coming up on time already. Time flew. So we're going to have to go straight into a question of the evening. Is there one that you really...
I'm going to go with what do I consider shallow water? I like to thank you for all those other questions. What do I consider shallow water? Because that's a great, what is shallow water? And then I gave you my answer. So yes, that was a good question.
That's a good question. So really quick, before we close out, somebody wants to schedule a charter with you. What do they need to do?
Just text me. Text is the best thing. Go on my website, find all the information. I'm full till middle October. I've got a couple of days left in October. November, I've got dates. November's the time when we're going to be fishing hard. So if you want to go for full-on rockfish blitzing, November's the new Rocktober for sure. It's all good in November. Book me in November. I'm pretty much booked solid until November.
Yeah. So everyone, hurry up and schedule your charter with Captain Tom Weaver. Thank you so much for your time, Captain. It's been great as always. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Stanley Morris, for checking us out. We hope that you will stay tuned for our next regional report with Crazy Horse Grant Elliott. So everyone have a great evening and fish on. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Just hang around. Too proud to be your